Hello, hello. I know it's early, but I am going to try out Streamyard, so I thought I'd hop on and give it a shot. So, how is everyone doing? If you're joining me this afternoon, please let me know. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm going to be working on a bow, and I figured I'd try this out. So here we are. All right, so let me make sure everything's working. How is everybody doing? Happy Wednesday. I'll be going live tonight at 7:30, so I have lots of goodies to show then. In the meantime, I'm working on a couple things, and I have Streamyard, so I thought I would try it out. So let's see. If you're catching the replay, let me know. Put hashtag replay in the comments for me. And that way there I can come back in and say hello, see how you are doing. And let's see here. We're going to give it a minute to see if it pops up on my screen. I don't know about this technology stuff some days. All right, so we're going to give it a go for a minute here. I'm trying StreamYard so that I can stream in a couple different places at the same time. So this is all new, which is always a good time, right? Anyway, all right, let's get started on a bow here. I don't see it, but it could also just be me, so who knows. Okay. All right, so I am making a bow that goes with a Hello Spring sign that I got in my last mystery supply box from Nick's Seasonal Decor. It's a really pretty pastel. It's on the wreath, but it's super huge because I put it on a bigger frame than I normally use, so it won't fit in my screen. So I'll have to show it to you guys after. But I'm super excited about it because it is a little bit different, and it's something that I normally don't make that size, so I'm curious to see how it comes out. I think it's going to be really pretty. So what I chose to put for the ribbon with it is to pull kind of the stripe pattern in the sign. So I got this really pretty ribbon from, this is actually from Sam's Club. It's in their new spring ribbon. It's a burlap kind of feel, like a linen, but with a white stripe, which I really like. And then I also got this, this yellow, this really pretty pastel yellow, which is linen. So it kind of gives it, it's not sheer by any means, but it's definitely not like a super, you know, you can't see through it, transparent ribbon. So I have this really pretty yellow. And then I also have this pink, which is similar material, just different color, which I really like this one as well. And then I have this on hand, which I kind of use a lot in the spring. It's kind of a staple. I really like this color. I think it goes with a lot of the spring things. It's a tealish. It's kind of like a tealish, aqua-ish kind of blue, but it has the white plaid, which is really fun. So those are my four kind of go-to ribbons for this design. And let me see here. All right, so we're going to start with this first. The first one I'm going to do is this wider ribbon that has the stripes on it. So because the wreath is a little bigger than I normally do, I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit of a bigger bow. So I'm going to give it still about the same size tails, and then just make the bow a little bit, the loops on the bow a little bit bigger. All right, let's see here. Okay, I don't know. We'll figure it out after. Okay, so I'm just talking to myself. What I'm going to do on this one, oops, I unrolled a little bit too much. I'm going to put it over here, try to get it out of the way. It's also a different place where my camera is, so I'm trying out a couple new things here. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm using my Bow Dabber, which I love, as you guys all know. I'm on the Bow Dabber design team. If you are interested in getting info on a Bow Dabber, hit me up. I definitely can help. I just think it's such a great bow making tool, and it lets me kind of lay the ribbons where I want them before I secure everything down. So here is my one loop I'm going to do on this side. And I think on this one, I'm going to go with, I think I'm going to do 4 loops on the bottom here. So there's a couple different ways that you can do it. Some people just lay them kind of all flat on top of each other, and then you can fluff them up after. I kind of try to put them in this kind of the spot where I want them to be when I'm done. It just depends on where the ribbon kind of falls also in the wreath once I get it on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the same size loop, just kind of put this one down a little bit. And then when I fluff it, what I'm going to do is put it one up, one down. So that will be how the bottom here is going to go. And then I'll flip it back through. And the thing that I really like, number one, if you're going to use the Bodabra, is to make sure that you twist the ribbon. I find that it to be very helpful. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to measure up. It's the same size loop. And by twist, I literally mean twist. That's all you're going to do is just twist it and then push it down in the center of the Bodabra. So what that does is it gives it like a little bit of a tighter hold on the loop. And this ribbon is a good example of it has a front side and a back side. So once you twist it and you push it down, the back side is going to be wanting to face up, but all you do is just go back to the center where you twisted it. And now that it's through the Bodabra, you just flip it back over and it will show the correct side. Sometimes it doesn't matter because the ribbon is patterned on both sides, or if it's a plain on both sides. So this is the first X for the bottom layer of the ribbon. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. You can also measure the ribbon ahead of time if you know how big your loops are. I just tend to do it on the fly because then that way there I can kind of adjust it as needed. So here is the bottom part, the first layer of our bow. So don't forget to put hashtag replay if you're catching the replay for me. And then the next one we're going to do is we'll do the yellow. Let's do the yellow next. So I'm going to do very similar process. We're just going to layer it. So you're going to want to pick out your tail, which I tend to go a little bit longer than the bottom one, especially with the 1.5 inch ribbons, which this is. That way there, if you want to curl it up a little on the bottom, you can. And I'm going to dovetail this so the end here where it was folded will be cut off in a minute. So we're going to do the same thing. So a little trick for the bow making here is if you flip it, if you flip your loop, so we did our twist and push down. I like to make them just a little bit smaller with my second layer of loops. See how that's just a little bit, so that when it layers, it does kind of go from the widest up just a tad. It doesn't have to be super drastic. It just, that little bit I think really does help give it that kind of, the ribbon stands in the right place, if that makes sense. Like it has its little spot here. And now, of course, you can do the layers of the loops however you would like. I tend to do, if I'm going to do 4, I do 4, or you can do 4 total and then do 2, do 1 and 1 over here. It really is up to you. If you want to make a really full bow, you could do 3 loops. It just depends on the style of bow that you're making and kind of what you want it to look like. And do you want if the bow is the center of the wreath, then, or like the focal point of the wreath, definitely you can go a little more loops. If you're doing a grapevine wreath, you can do a little more loops. It just depends on what you're designing and kind of what you're wanting it to look like when you're done. So here is the 4. Did we do 4? 1, 2. Yep. Okay. So same thing. I'm going to twist and push down on both sides. I have my 2 loops here on the left, my left, 2 loops here. And then I'm going to cut this ribbon about the same length as the other side. Now, another way that you can kind of change up the way that you do the bows is you can always put the tails on the top if you want to, like I did with this one. Like, we'll just leave this here so you guys can see it. If it's going on a wreath and you are going to put it somewhere where it can kind of be seen on both sides, then you can do it like that if you'd like. It just depends on how you're kind of wanting to make it. And then I'm going to go in with the patterned ribbon, the teal blue plaid. So here we are with this guy. kind of the same thing. Now, if you want to turn it around, I actually do have a little turntable, which is really cute. If you want to, you can always turn it to get the ribbon starting in a different spot. So maybe you want to have them all on one side, up, one down. Like for example, I'll put this one over here because there's no ribbon there yet. You can do that too. So you just kind of put the tail where you want it. And then you're going to do your loops. And again, you can do as many or as few loops as you would like. And I'm going to go just a tiny bit shorter than the yellow. That's too much. Like here, see how it's just that little bit of difference between the two, just to give it that stacked look. And then we'll go in and do our four loops, 2 on each side, since that's what we're doing. And again, you're just taking the ribbon, making a loop, twisting it, literally twist like so, push it down in the Bodabra, and it makes your loop over here. The Bodabra holds the side. So we're just going to finish this side off, and then we're going to put the tail down, and I'll cut it about the same length. All right, so let me know if you're seeing the vision of the ribbon bow here. So the beauty of the bow making tool is that it stacks the ribbon for you. So when you make it by hand, you can definitely hold the layers, but I just find it easier to use the Bodabra to hold it for me. It also gives me my 2 hands to like arrange the bow how I want it. And then the last layer we're going to do is going to be the pink, which is this one. And again, we're going to do the same thing. I just flipped it back around so that it's on the same side starting as the yellow so that they're both together. I think that looks really cute. And then we're going to, let me get this out of the way here. Okay, then we're going to make our loops here again, twist, push it down. So see, this one's just a tiny bit shorter than the blue. So we have our little layer effect. Also, as you go to the top and you go to the shorter ribbons, you can also go to fewer loops. So if you wanted to do 2, well, let's say if you wanted to do, for example, 3, you could do 2, 2, 1. That'll just give it a different kind of feel. And that's totally fine too. It's however you feel like you want to have it look is totally what you can do. If you're making like a more formal bow or like let's say like a wedding bow, that one I would probably do more loops on, but you can certainly do it however you want. So, okay, so here's all of our layers. So right now it's stacked in the Bodabra. As you can see, some of them are side by side. This one I can actually move a little more like this to show you guys. Okay, there we go. So at this point, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dovetail the ends. So you don't have to do this. And of course, you can cut the ends however you like. You can cut them in a diagonal like this if you'd like. Actually, let me show you. You could cut them in just a plain diagonal, which just gives it that kind of finished look. But I do like to dovetail mine. So by dovetail, I mean you fold the ribbon in half and you're going to cut it an angle from the bottom up diagonal to the center of the ribbon. So that's going to give you that little V there. See? So here's another one. So you're just going to fold the ribbon in half this way and then snip it at a diagonal. You can do this at any point. I know some people who like to make their dovetails when they cut the ribbon for the bow. That's totally fine. If you want to do it, sometimes I do it after I have the bow made, once it's out of the bow maker. But just given the way that this one is layered, I'm just going to go ahead and do it now. And then you just got to make sure you catch them all in the right way here. Every once in a while, there'll be a sneaky one. And then I have to go back in and fix it. Okay, so here we are. Let me move all of our little ribbon ends. Here is our bow. So now, as far as finishing the bow goes, you can do this a couple of different ways. You can use a pipe cleaner. I like the pipe cleaner. These are my favorite pipe cleaners. They come from Hobby Lobby. It sounds really weird, but there are actually pipe cleaners that are a little thicker than others. I like these, and this color's neutral, goes with everything. You can also use a zip tie. If I'm doing a center one for a bow, I tend to use a thicker one like this. So actually, maybe I'll do the zip tie now. You can do a zip tie. You can also use floral wire, which I have. I just didn't pull it out. It's on my little roundy next to me. I find personally the floral wire is a little harder to work with. I like to pull the ribbon really tight to get the center tight. And I just find it easier to do with a pipe cleaner. Or even the zip tie. It just gives you, for me, it gives me that little bit of extra leverage to pull the bow tighter, but you can certainly use floral wire. The other option is Bodabra has this, hold on here, I just got it all stuck. Bodabra has a their own wire, which is kind of cool. This is silver. It also comes in gold. I use it on my smaller bows. It makes a great way if you're going to tie the bow to something. This is also a great option, especially if you're going to tie it on to something that maybe is a little smaller, and you can actually put it in your Bodabra before you start the bow. So you will pull the Bodabra wire up and tighten it around the middle. So I'll do one like that next so you guys can see what I mean. But for now, I'm going to use zip tie, good old zip tie, and I'm going to use my pipe cleaner. So we're going to use the zip tie to secure the middle of the bow, and then the pipe cleaner will be how I attach it to the wreath. So you get your smusher. I don't know, it's a kind of wand. I call it the smusher or the smoosher. It goes right in the middle of the Bodabra like so. You're going to press down. And with this many ribbons, you're not going to get very far down to the bottom, and that's okay because the ribbons are stacked up in there. And what this is doing is it's pressing the center of the bow down just to make it a little tighter. And when you do so, it makes the loops kind of fluff up. Let me see if I can show you. See how it kind of goes like, yeah. So that means it's a good smoosh. And then I'm just going to arrange these real quick while I have the pressure on the smoosher. Move that little guy. He wants to stick up. Okay. So you take that out. Now to get this out of the, let me take this little thing off here. To get this out of the bow maker, out of the Bodabra, you go to the bottom. I put my thumb here just to secure it. Go to the bottom, grab your very bottom ribbon, pull it up. It won't fall apart, I promise. And then when you get to the top, towards where the top is, I pinch. Hold on, let me get the right camera angle here. There we go. So what I do is I pinch right here in the middle and then right here on the bottom, which you can't see right here. Pinch them together and just pull it out of the bow maker. And then for this guy, what we're going to do is we're going to put the zip tie in, which again, you can also do this before you make the bow. I just decided to do it, so I'm going to go ahead and do it after. So the zip tie is just going to wrap around the center. You're going to put the zip tie ends together, tighten it a little bit, and then this is where the pipe cleaner comes in. I folded mine so I'd know where the middle was. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to insert the pipe cleaner into the zip tie. Hold on here, like so. And that way there, now I can secure the zip tie and the pipe cleaner will be where I want it to be to attach to the wreath. And then usually when I use the zip ties, I kind of twist, I just pull it and then I kind of twist it up so that when I cut this off, it's going to be at the back of the bow, not near the front. So I'm going to pull this baby. And then let me grab my little cutters here, and then we're going to cut the end off the zip tie. And that is done. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fluff the wreath. So what's this thing called? Pipe cleaner here. I like to just give mine a little twist on the back of the zip tie. I just find it easier when the two ends are already attached to the zip tie like so. And then I'll attach it to the wreath like this. Now I just smooshed it, which is fine because what we're going to do is we're going to fluff the bow. And to fluff the bow, so pinch it in between your thumb and your first finger like so. So you're holding it like this. And then I use my other hand to fluff the bows. I start on the bottom. I kind of go through the bottom layers just to lay them where I want them. And then work my way up. So, and it doesn't have to be perfect because once I get it on the wreath, I'm going to adjust it again and just like fluff up the loops. And by that, I just mean that's it. That's all you have to do is just kind of put them in like a somewhat draft area of where they might be when they get on the wreath. And then what we'll do is I will take a picture of this when I get it on the wreath so that you guys can see what I mean. So I'm just fluffing, I'm just pulling the ribbons. You just pull like so. That's all you're doing. And then there's always one little end that always wants to do its own thing. It's kind of like hair, like you're doing your hair, and then the next thing you know, it's not cooperating. So perfect. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the same thing kind of on this side. Just pull the loops up so that we can fluff them to where we want them. And then I'll show you my favorite way to fluff loops. So when it comes to bows, my favorite way of fluffing loops is to, I'll use this one here because so you guys can see it. I like to put my thumb in one side and then just put my index finger in the other side and pinch them together to kind of like put the loop in the middle, like push it in the middle. And what that does is I find it makes it stand up. See how it's standing up? It's just from pushing the loops together. So just like pinching around the center of the bow. That's all there is to it. And then, let me just get this guy over here. I'll show you guys what this looks like. And then we should be ready to go with finishing up this wreath. Okay, this is really cute. I really like these colors. They're fun. This would be an awesome like mailbox bow. And I do have a bow section on my website, in my Etsy shop. If you go to whimsywreathdesignco.com, you can find my website. Don't forget to sign up for my VIP email list. You will get coupons, all the good news. I was going to say interesting stuff. All the good news, all the fun news, new things, new products. Definitely sign up. And I do give exclusive coupon codes and sales for my email group. So go ahead and sign up there. But if you go to my Etsy shop, you can see bows that I have made that are available for sale. I make custom bows. So here is our Easter bow. So what do you think? Our little spring, actually, hello spring. It's going to be a wreath bow. I love it. I think it's really cute. I really like these ribbons. And then once I get it on the wreath, I'll be able to kind of fluff it how I want, and we'll make sure we get all the colors showing. And then to finish the tails, like if you're going to put this on a lantern, on a basket, stairs, door, if you have a wreath of your own that you'd like to add a little something to, you can leave the ribbons as is. If you kind of just pull if you just pull and curl the ribbon, it'll kind of stand it up and give it that really cute, pretty little finishing thing here. Or which I like to do is sometimes, especially on the longer ribbons, I like to roll it. So you just roll it so it gives it like that little cute end. So just depending on where it's going and where you are going to use your bow. So thank you guys for joining me. Don't forget to put #replay, and I will see you in a little while for a live.